Hi guys, so the last time we left off last week, or in our last recording, we had just finished up with the Burning Sands temple, going through torturing a couple guys, dismembering them, scaring people off because they might see something out in the desert. And we left off, I think, before we came to a decision whether or not we were going to head off to the I got the name for it here. The Red Oasis, I think it was, or the Marching Mountains.
Yes, correctly.
Yeah.
Had we decided which one we were going to do yet? Because we'd learned about the Oasis.
Yeah,
We have
I mean,
a
we got
plan,
this
yeah.
amazing, like, purple worm cloaks, right? That can handle all the flesh-eating sandstorms.
And they also fare pretty well in the
I
heat
think
of the
we
day.
didn't really talk yet about what we were doing, right?
We
If I
did get
remember.
our camels back, right?
Yes, we have camels.
Yeah, like they just came back with the camel and they told, what they saw, and then we didn't really decide on any plan.
What
Okay.
did we find out exactly?
We found out where, like, what was his name? Let me check.
It was Kolek, because I remember we had a bit of a mind meltdown, because we're like, no, it's not Kolek, that old man that helped us.
No, like, basically Hasid had a message box, like, where he received or sent messages to Kolek. I think he just received messages from Kolek, and that was in the Oasis.
More specifically, it was he would meet Kolek there to drop off slaves, and then Kolek was kind of the fence man who would take them from there and sell them on into the either up into Memnon or down into the What is it, Calimport? Yeah, Calimport itself.
But we also got info that the Bard Rain is in the Marching Mountains, so we could go either way.
Yeah, I'm actually, now that I think about it, like, why would Kolek know where Barded Rain is? Like, if slaves, like, if he's just a slave seller, like, how would he know? Isn't, like, is Sarek or Hasid, like, higher in the chain of command?
Not necessarily. The way it works was that Isaric was a recruiter, so he would go around, and you would have gotten this when you interrogated him. He would go around and find men, mostly desert dwellers, to hunt down either unwary travelers or other members of the desert dwelling kind of populace, capture them, and then sell them off into slavery for whatever it is that Barded Rain needs. Specifically, what you found out, he was looking for craftsmen and other things like that. So Hasid's job was kind of like a collection agent. He would find people, hunt them down, capture them, and then take them to Kolek, and Kolek would take them from there and sell them into slavery or do something else with them, depending on whether or not they were craftsmen, things like that.
Then Kolek sounds like the next step. I suggest we go to the Oasis and take this one down, or apprehend them.
Right, for the Marching Mountains, we found it out in the spy information center.
And the information brokers.
That's where we went first, actually. But we were on the way
And what
there.
was it, that Barded Rain was spotted in the Marching Mountains, or that he was...
That there had been rumors that he was out in the Marching Mountains. There's been a lot of talk of him out there, especially.
Marching Mountains are very large. I suggest we travel towards the Oasis. We can either go the long route next to the coast or cross the desert right away. But I think I would ride around the desert, since our camels do not have purple worm cloaks.
Yeah, going through the desert, it looks like it'll be about 60 miles, possibly. So going around will probably add on an additional, let's just double it, say 120, since you're going to be making something of a triangle.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right, that sound good to everyone?
No.
What? I draw my scimitar.
I think we should just go to the Marching Mountains. Quick and easy. No, don't need to go around back to the desert, and we'll just end up having to go back to the Marching Mountains.
But but the mountain are big. Like, we don't know where it is.
There are places between here and the Marching Mountains.
The mountains.
Someone must have seen or heard of them.
I guess that kind of makes sense. Even if we go to the Oasis right now, we still have to go to the Marching Mountains, assuming he's there.
Yes, but at least we have a location. The mountains stretch an area of like 240 miles wide and around 60 to 70 high.
How do we...
Surely, but not every single inch is populated. There are cities and villages around it, like Fair, Sar, and Keltar. Surely there would be information there.
You think so? You know how hard it was to get any information about this fella? He seems to be very secretive. Going after the chain of command, or we at least have a clear lead here. We know we have a name and we know where he is. If we travel like back down now, and then even if we have to travel back up into the mountains, I'm okay with that. At least we have a goal. I prefer that over strolling for weeks upon weeks or even months through these mountains.
Well, I think it'll just take longer for no good reason. I think we'll find our way across the Marching Mountains.
Very well. We are a democracy here. So let's cast a vote.
What? Wait. What about the man outside that stayed in Garzhvog so?
What?
What?
Are you talking about the ones he scared away to get the camels back?
Yeah.
Why would they know anything more?
They might go back to their leader. We could follow them.
We could bring the head of, what was it, Hasid?
Mm-hmm.
We
bring
killed
his
their
head with
leader.
us.
They will probably just disappear into the desert.
You think so?
No.
I would think they would go back where they come from.
Yes, probably Hasid's hideout. But Hasid told us everything he knows. And that is the contact with Korlik. It's the only link to Barded Rain.
I mean, we know, or the rumor is that Barded Rain went from Calim to the Marching Mountains, and we went on the short path from Calim to the Marching Mountains. He must have stopped in some of the places in between. There are only so many ways, or so many obvious paths to the Marching Mountains.
Could be anywhere. He could have taken a boat up river. He could be on
Well,
a
there is
journey
also
now.
no guarantee that Korlik knows where he is.
Well, if he's a seller of slaves, and like, look at it that way. Hasid was requesting the personnel and sold it off to Korlik. They wanted to gather a lot of slaves or burning sand members who could forge or craft. So I assume if Korlik takes all these captured craftsmen, he has to forward them to Barded Rain, since it's Barded Rain's plan. That would be my guess. He wants to use them to craft something, right?
Unless he's yet again another middleman.
Unless that, yes, that might be the... Wait, wasn't Barded Rain a middleman in the first place? Like, what was the super secret guy that we actually...
No, that was Barded
came
Rain.
at?
That is Barded Rain.
Oh, really? Wasn't there like someone above him?
No.
But let's keep our focus on the goal here. We're here just to retrieve
No,
Atala
Kemet
Bashar.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't
Kemet
have
was the
to-
super secretive guy that no one knows about. Barded Rain is like, unless it's the same person, Kemet and Barded Rain, but we don't have anything that would indicate that. We don't know anything.
Who was Kemet? No.
Do you all want a little bit of a refresher? It has been
Yes.
about a week
That
since
would
we
be
played.
That would be great.
Okay, so Barded Rain, from what you've been able to gather, is the owner of the slaves with that chain tattoo on their wrist.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Nobody knows where Barded Rain is from. but they've heard that they've either seen his mark or heard his name, and his mark is especially prolific throughout all the major cities in the Kalasham. So like Kalimport has a lot of people that spread out through the city. So sailors coming in, couple of craftsmen here and there, basic slaves, people being loaned out for work. So whereas a lot of slavers would have their workers allocated in a certain spot, like a quarry owner would have all his slaves in the quarry, the man from the Master's Mark had all his workers in the Master's Mark. Barded Rain seems to be pretty well spread out, and from the amount of slaves that he has, fairly wealthy. Kamed is... Let me double check, make sure that's the right name I'm talking about here. Kamed was the purchaser of a fair deal of slaves, and he's the one that walked off with Pashar's daughter. And the thing is, no one's been able to find out who Kamed was. He just kind of showed up, he had a lot of money, and he was gone before anyone could really get a sense of his motives or get a handle on what he was after. And that was mostly weird, and they mentioned this because it's a big deal in Kalasham when you're rich to make a big show of it, even if you're not that rich, but try to make it look like you're richer than you are. And he was very quick about it. He didn't hang around, he didn't lavish himself with money, and he especially seemed to be taken with a pretty simple merchant's daughter. So he's just an oddity. The reason you were heading out towards the Marching Mountains was partially because of Bard Raid and partially because the Bashars funded this little excursion to go bring back their daughter / sister in the case of the son.
If Kemet took Atala, then why are we following Bard Rain? What's their connection?
He has been attacking Bashar. From what you got from the marks
Bard
on the
Rain.
slaves.
Oh, but we don't. Okay.
A lot of conflicting motives
So
there.
we don't even know that there's a connection between Bard Rain and Kemet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last Kamed was seen, he was heading out into the Calim Desert, and Barded Rain, you have reports of him being in the Marching Mountains.
Wait, into the Calim Desert, so we have even no reports that Kemet is in the Marching Mountains?
Well, the Calim Desert does go quite a good distance, so he could have done anything from head up to Memnon too at some point.
Alright, then we should go to the Oasis Clear Winner, because that's even the direction that
I
Kemet
don't even
went.
know why we went to the Marching Mountains then. Like,
Well, we'll think of it
Because
this way.
they sound nice. Alright, we're gonna settle and pack up our dromedaries
because
and
Bardic
camels.
Rain gets attacked like Pashar, right? And we wanted to find out, and why doesn't like Bard slavers?
Yes, they always blame it on me. It's fine. Mount up, gentlemen.
Well,
We're
think of
gonna
it this way,
wrench you
guys.
back.
I mean, right now we're kind of like we were trying to find Barded Rain, but there can be a connection between him and Kamed simply because Kamed is known for buying slaves and he's wealthy.
Yes, I mean that's
Barded
what we
Rain
assume.
has all the connections with slavery and
I mean,
capturing slaves,
yeah,
so he
then-
would have likely dealt with Kamed.
Should go to the Oasis anyway. 'Cause it does like both anyway. So
Exactly.
Well, yeah, fair enough. I'm just trying to point out that there is a connection possibly between the two that we can follow.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
sure.
All right, so we're settled on the
Oasis.
Dalared Oasis, I think that is. It's really
Exactly, but over the safe route around the desert, not through the desert.
All right, so you're gonna take the coastal route again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the triangle thing, we can do that.
Okay.
But before we go, let's sleep or something. Because I think we were at night when we got the camels back.
Mm-hmm.
All that fun stuff.
All
Yeah,
right.
actually, you're right. Let's rest for once.
All right. So, do we have any set plan for how you all want to rest? You want to spend the night in the Burning Sands home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one entrance, so.
All right. Do we want to do another watch again, or do you just want to barricade it up and let everyone get a full night's rest?
We're gonna watch, but everyone gets a full night's rest. And
Okay.
then we take a couple more hours so that everyone gets his 8 hours in. I guess like if everyone does 3 hours, that should work.
Okay. And just to keep everything within the context of D&D and habits, let's have the watch order down, and then we'll have everyone roll a spot or listen check depending on what you're good at. or what you're physically capable of doing.
Well, I know now you're capable of both. So
So that's a lie. Don't say random stuff. Okay.
okay, I'm gonna take the second watch this time.
I'll take the third one.
I guess I take the first then.
Okay.
Okay, second watch, spot/listen check. Wait, what?
Little shitty,
That
my
is
friend.
7, I see.
Mine
Oh.
is a listen 25.
Ooh.
Listen. 6.
All right, let's get the roll from Garzhvog.
I was just trying to check something real quick. Sorry.
That's fine.
And now roll 20 is being done. I hate this.
Well, if you want, you could just tell me the number and I'll roll it on my side.
D20. There's no modifier on it. It was a -2, but it's bumped back up. Modifiers and shit.
All right, so running through, we have. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. You're back now.
There
So we
go.
started off with Fate was watching first, right?
No, Inza.
Inza, sorry. Okay, so Inza with that fairly nice 25. Where exactly in the temple/caves are you going to be sleeping at?
You want to just stay in the main cavern, like the one you first walk into?
I think we should, like, where the stables are.
Yeah, like that at least we get time, like if I hear her noise, so that...
Exactly, then we can still go another way around and stuff, and they can't
Mhm.
surprise us that easily, and we can barricade or hold it off and escape over the sauna.
Okay. With that 25, how long do you think the watches are going to be? About 3-4 hours?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Towards the later half of it, so probably about 3.5 hours into it, you're able to hear this kind of river beating sound throughout the cavern, just this low rumble, and outside you can hear intermediate. It gets louder and goes away. It's just a almost like the sound of sand sliding down a dune, but in this case, a lot of sand sliding down a dune.
Oh, fuck. We got spotted by a worm.
All right. Do you want to do anything particular about that, or do you want to pass on
don't
your watch?
So I guess I would, take a few steps closer and listen, but beside that, that's pretty much it. Like, unless like the sound change all of a sudden, or like get closer or something, but...
No,
No, I
it
don't.
grows and fades, but eventually it does
Yeah.
fade away off into the distance. All right, and then Void, your roll was a 7, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're all dead.
So even with that dark vision, no one comes into the caves. You don't see any signs of movement from the opening. Seems pretty much like just a quiet watch after that worm seems to pass on and go on its own way. For Garzhvog, who took the third watch with that 11, same thing. It's a pretty calm night. Nothing really happening. And for Fate taking the last one with a 6, it's again just a dull night, and you managed to catch the sun coming up for that brief moment before it becomes that scalding ball of fire in the sky.
Very nice. I enjoy it.
All right. So the plan is to go and get back on that road and head on into the back to Calimport.
Yep.
All right. So on your way back, it's going to take what did it take you all? About 2 nights to get from Kalasham to where you are? I think that was about it.
Yep.
All right. On your way back, there's actually significantly more people on the trail than there were before. And this time it actually seems to be not just merchants and the odd pleasure traveler, but quite a few people on the level of peasants, really, basic day laborers, things like that. And it looks like they're carrying most of their worldly goods with them as they're heading to Calimport.
Ooh. I'll ask the first best that comes my way, like, what happened?
Okay. The first one you can get that can talk and at least speak in some reasonable amount of common or clear enough Kalasham without that like smaller regional dialects mixed in with it. He's an older man, and he tells you that he is a small farmer from. I can read this name here. Give me one moment. I think that's Farisar. Is that it? At the just off the Calim River, and he manages to tell you that the tribes up in the mountains, the orc tribes, goblin tribes, things like that, seem to be more aggravated than usual. They're actually leaving because there's been a couple raids on their small little hamlet, and there's also been some fighting up in the mountains they've seen, and it doesn't look like it's it doesn't look as though it's the orcs and the goblins fighting each other, because it's very rare to see so many fireballs and things go off in the hills. The lesser races don't tend to use that kind of magic as much.
Slightly offended, but okay.
Well, remember, these people are all fairly racist.
That's. I mean, I understand where it's coming from. I'm just slightly offended.
You see, there's indeed something going on in the mountains. We're wasting time.
Do you all want to keep chatting to him as you make your way along down that trail there with its own name? All right. Can we get either a gather information or that's even local knowledge as you go and chat around with people?
I can do gather information.
Okay, it's just a charisma check, right?
Yeah. Knowledge
15.
history might also help out in
Yeah, I
cases
can
of
also
something.
do that.
Ooh, 21.
Bring that knowledge.
Yeah, the
Sweet.
first is like gather information and then knowledge history.
Okay. So we got a 15 and a 17 from Inza for gather information, then knowledge history, and then a 21 from Valerion. What was that for? Was that history?
Gather information.
For gather information as well. Okay. So from what you've been able to gather with that gather information check is that pretty much everybody on these roads are from the base of the base of the marching mountain. So small hamlets, maybe even the occasional thorp. And whatever's happening, it seems to be pretty big. From what you've been able to gather, especially chatting up with more people, it's that they think the Janissar, those slave freedom fighters, violent underground railroad kind of folks, they've been a lot more active than usual, and especially in this case, they think that they were the ones that have been attacking the orc and the goblin tribes up in the mountains. They're doing something up there, and this is pretty far away from their normal habits. They tend to try to keep to themselves and keep away from fighting the local populace. And a couple of the people you meet are actually from Keltar, and this kind of goes into the knowledge history check, is that they're heading to Calimport because there's been a long history of the occasional orc and goblin raids coming down out of the marching mountains and sweeping into the desert to pillage and plunder what they can get. And they're the beginning of what will probably be a pretty steady stream of not really refugees, but relocators that don't want to get caught up in a possible repeat of history again.
Hmm.
All right. And is there anything else you all want to do?
I say we stick to the original plan.
Okay. So when you set up camp tonight, because we'll jump ahead there to the evening. Do you want to try to stay on the road with the other refugees that are camping down, or do you want to kind of go off and get your own little spot?
No, we'll go with
With
the
more
refugees.
people, can hear story and
Exactly.
I play
Socialize a
songs.
little.
Okay. Yeah, so in the case of some of the more destitute refugees, they don't have very much on, just whatever they could grab, or in some cases they didn't have anything that they could grab. So some of the nights are a little tense. with the different varying groups going down the trail. Some have campfires, some don't even have that. When you all settle down, you get this kind of fairly steady stream of either small children or women, and the occasional cripple coming along and begging you for a bit of food.
I'll give them some rations.
Yeah, same.
All right, and how many rations do you want to give?
How many people come by?
We had 28 good meals. We're going to have to take away 12 because you all have been eating the past 3 days, I'm assuming. We'll just go with a single meal for that. That leaves you with a whopping 16 meals. Yeah. Am I correct on that? 16 meals pretty much left up?
Yeah, four each, so 16, yeah.
Okay, so how many meals do you want to give away?
How far is the oasis?
The oasis, you're actually going to have to go back through Calimport before you can head out into the oasis.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Give them some meals. Yeah, we're just restocking rations.
And Calimport is like 1 day? Or 2?
Yeah, you'll get back there by late evening.
Let's give everybody a meal.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. This is, I don't know how much we spend. I'm gonna give like 2 days of rations out.
Okay.
On my end.
Yeah, I'm gonna give 3 days just to be better than Valerion.
Okay, so it leaves you down with
up to 3 days.
That'll leave you down to 11 rations.
I've got 1 left.
3 days left.
All right.
How do you get 3? I guess. Oh yeah.
I'll give out a ration as well.
All right, so that'll put you down to 10 rations.
I'll give 1 as well.
9.
And I don't want to give any, but I look bad if I don't give any at all. So I'll just give the minimum possible.
I think we should actually be down to 8 because I gave 1 away to the caravan of.
That's true.
Things.
Yeah, so we'll up it down to nice rounded 8 then. All right. The people seem very, very grateful for the food you're giving out, and they start breaking up the meals amongst themselves to help it spread a little bit further. However, seeing that you're giving out so much food, and especially such fine meals, you start attracting more and more people coming over and asking for a handout.
Excellent job, Valerion.
People of Calim, this is all we got.
Is that all you're going to yell?
Hold on, let me think.
And then you sit down.
Alright, I'll give up 1 more. And everyone who takes a ration, like I praise, like in the name of Tyr, you receive this piece of ration. May you prosper and praise the Lord. Yeah, and I repeat that over and over till I'm down to 2 days ration.
All right, and who can speak Kalashite?
I can.
All right. So you managed to pick up the crowd that started to gather is getting a little unruly. You can hear some people yell out in the back things like, well, I got kids too. How come they can't get to eat?
Because there's only... Oh, wait, I don't speak.
Well, do you want to share with the rest of the group what they're saying?
Valerion, I think this guy wants you to feed his children.
Very well. Listen up, citizens and refugees. There's not more food to give. Do you understand that? We have to travel far and the city's only 2 days out. Here are 9 gold pieces and 2 copper pieces. And I throw them off into the crowd. Fight over it.
Wow.
Are you sure you're a paladin?
That's a terrible idea. Wow.
I also don't. He's not.
Well done, Valerion. Proud of you.
I know.
Yeah, so that money doesn't even really hit the sand before people are piling on top of each other to get to it. And those that can't get to the money to fight over it, you hear him shout out a few more things, and one of the very particular ones that sticks in your head is, well, what about those camels? Those are pretty fat.
You can't hit camels. They have feelings too.
When did you become a druid?
Well, good we rested the other night, because we're not gonna get to sleep this night.
Yeah.
Let's ride on.
I can't sleep
Enough
on
of these
everyone.
refugees.
All right, you want to force march your way out of there while they're all scrabbling for the money?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like it's we're like okay, let's slip a bit further.
All right, so it takes you a couple minutes, maybe about 15 to 20, before you can get far enough away before the last of the beggars stop following you. And we're running up on the 30-minute mark. We'll actually cut this portion of the recording off here, and we'll pick up the next morning.